What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here to talk about Gecko Moria, the brand new Sugofest exclusive character that I just pulled. This character is really cool, and honestly, I do think it's one of the better legends in the game, and you guys will see throughout this video some of the awesome things that this character is capable of doing. But of course, before we get into the actual content, let's actually take this time to quickly talk about Gecko Moria. If you guys want to skip past this, go down below to the video timeline or the timestamps to go ahead and skip over to the actual breakdown of how this character is performing in content. But have a look at this ink effect, dude. This ink effect is 10 out of 10. Definitely one of the best ink effects in the game, though I am being a little bit conservative with my ink right now. But let's go ahead and actually talk about this guy. Gecko Moria is an int-driven powerhouse character. He is a super type character, by the way, which we'll get to in just a moment, but his captain effect boosts driven and powerhouse by 5 times with a matching slot, 4.5 times otherwise, a 1.3 health boost, and you heal 0.5 times his recovery every time you hit a perfect, and every time you kill something, you heal 50% of your crew's maximum recovery. This is a really cool effect because not only is he a super type character, which typically characters of the past have been super type characters that boost a color, whereas this time around he is a super type character that boosts classes, which means that the diversity of teams that you can build with this guy is more significant. However, in this video we're not really going to be focusing in on the team diversity in terms of typings, because we're going to be taking on some Garp challenges with this guy. But just in terms of tankiness, just so much recovery back, and you guys will see that in this video. It's very impressive to see how good this captain effect actually is. And his special ability on a 13 turn cooldown will change all slots into matching, not block orbs though, so you do have to keep that in mind. He will boost driven and powerhouse characters orbs by 2.5 for 1 turn, and he nullifies damage over 2,000 for 1 turn as well. So any enemy that attacks you for 2,000 or more, basically it'll only do a flat 2,000. That's the maximum amount of damage that enemies can do to you the turn you activate this special. So it's a nice kind of effect to potentially block death hits and stuff. It's really cool. But then it says after 1 turn has passed, he gives your driven and powerhouse characters 2.25 times color affinity. So he'll give you boosts over multiple different turns, which is very valuable to have. Now taking a look at Gecko Moria's super type special, which says that in order to activate it, you need to have 6 characters on your crew that are either driven characters or powerhouse characters. That's it. Like, it's pretty easy to fulfill. And what it does 75 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies, and then reduces the cooldowns of driven and powerhouse characters by 1, and locks your orbs for 1 turn. So it's essentially a better version of the Sweet Commander's super type. And the really good thing about it is that he locks orbs with his super type special. That is ridiculously underrated, especially with his powerful special that already gives you a full board of matching slots. And you guys will see in this video how great this combination of effects are together. Such a great captain ability, a fantastic special, and a super type that synergizes well with both of those two. So really love the kit of Gecko Moria. Having a look though at his crewmate abilities real quick, he reduces your entire team's special bind by 1 turn, and he also will go ahead and make all your crew's int slots count as beneficial as well. So that's also very good. And one other really awesome component of Gecko Moria is his support effect attaching to any int character that is also driven, and it gives driven characters a 1.5 times color affinity at the start of the final stage. So it's a good support effect, but it is a little bit annoying that you can only attach it to int driven characters, so you're a little bit restricted there. But essentially, if you're not running Moria on your team and you need a color affinity booster for your int characters or driven characters, this is going to be a really nice support to have on your team. So overall, I'm a big fan of this brand new Sugofest exclusive. It is annoying that they give really powerful Sugofest exclusives to characters that no one really cares about, because I'm not a big fan of Moria as a character, but the unit in Treasure Cruise is awesome. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead now and take this guy into some content. Alright, so getting into the video, of course, we're going to be running through the 10-star difficulty Garp challenges that are currently available here on Global, and of course, starting off with Enel. Now, the team that you guys are seeing in this video, it's essentially the same team for all 3 variations of these Garp challenges, with one minor difference between this team you're seeing right now and the other 2 teams. I actually use the exact same unit for unit, support for support, ship for ship team against the Navy challenge and the Hody challenge. The only real problem that I found, because I did a backwards. I started with Hody, then I did the Navy challenge, and that worked fine. And then when I took it back into the Enel challenge, I kind of forgot the fact that on the final stage you have to deal with the stun debuff. That was the one thing that I really couldn't get around with this exact team. So in order to get around that, you see I've got this is Sanji, Stampede Sanji from obviously the Stampede event, and he's a really good unit. We can have the support of putting on him, which will allow us to get the ability to remove that stun once we reach that final stage. I guess technically you could replace it with like a Reiju character with that putting support as well. Just having the accessibility to do that is great, because with the NL challenge, one of the problems is obviously you get special binded, there's the fear debuff, and Int kind of struggled to deal with the fear debuff and special bind. So the way that they deal with it here is just by, you know, using boosts on stage 6 and then carrying those boosts into the final stage. And because Moria has a special ability that gives us a massive boost on the first turn, and we can carry a boost into the next turn, and then we got versus Big Mom, who does the exact same thing. We can use her attack boost, which will give us really good damage on that stage 6, and then in the last stage, we get an orb boost from her. And of course, with Moria, we get a full board of matching slots. We can use his super type to lock those slots as well, which is the most useful component of his super type, in my opinion. But also, you'll be seeing that that super type is super clutch against the Hody Jones Garp challenge a little bit later on in this video. You guys might be wondering why I have the Crocodile and the Doflamingo on this team. Crocodile in theory was pretty good, but because of the special bind on stage 2, we can't use his special ability to remove the burn on stage 3, which wasn't really that big of a deal anyway. We had Sanji to deal with it, so it wasn't that bad. Doflamingo is here specifically for the other 2 variations of the Garp challenge you guys will see in a little bit. And then also Crocodile was supposed to be really good here, but he's also really nice against the Navy challenge because we get inflicted with burn on that stage. And then Crocodile's really nice for the stage against the Hody challenge as well, because he just gives us a really nice color affinity and also the burn once again, because there's just burn on every one of these Garp challenges, and it's just completely infuriating. But yeah, Doflamingo isn't really needed for this Garp challenge, so definitely replaceable. And we actually are running a very good support unit on versus Big Mom, which I might not have touched up on, and that's going to be the support rare recruit Daifuku, who isn't really useful at all for this particular Garp challenge, but is definitely useful in the 2 other Garp challenges that you'll see a little bit later on in this video. But I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip here. We're going to absolutely demolish Enel once we get to the final stage. But anyways, I'll see you guys once we get to the Navy Garp challenge. So now picking things up to the Navy Garp challenge, and as we said, this is this specific team right here is the exact same team that you guys will see in the following Garp challenge versus Hody Jones. So instead of running the Stampede Sanji in the bottom left-hand corner, instead we're running the super type Blackbeard instead, with the support of Lafitte. So anytime we're inflicted with Bind or Despair, it gets removed by 1 turn anytime we're inflicted with it. So it's really good, and plus Blackbeard is just a phenomenal character, because anytime we have to deal with a really stupid mini boss that has a lot of HP, Blackbeard can just kind of deal with it. Of course, it does take a little bit of time to get his special ramped up, because the first 2 activations, while they are decent, it's not going to be like the main difference between you winning and losing. And I mean, to be honest, the 3 times attack and orb boost that he gets on the second activation is actually really good, but the third activation, that 4 times attack and orb boost, that's what you really want. And we are going to be specifically stocking up this Blackbeard against the Fujitora boss, because when you actually reach the final boss stage against all of these 10-star difficulty Garp challenges, they remove your accumulated value. So Blackbeard is going to be useless on these final boss stages. So the only reason why he's here is to help us get rid of some of the mini bosses that we're going to have to deal with. And he does a very good job at that. Plus, you know, as we said, having access to a support that can just remove Bind and Despair anytime we're inflicted with it by 2 turns is actually very valuable. As you'll see here on this Smoker stage with Hina and Tashigi, we We can remove that despair on our team. I mean, realistically as well, you could potentially go ahead and use the support of, I think there's a Kuma, right? Yeah, like the support Kuma, which can attach to Gecko Moria. That can help you get around some of that despair, but also getting around most of that bind as well with the left feet support is really useful. And of course, we have Doflamingo on the team, who gets a little bit more time to shine on the Navy Garp challenge, because for the Navy Garp challenge, we have to get rid of Threshold on 2 different specific occasions, and Doflamingo has double special activation, and he also has access to the Bellamy support, which we are using. The Bellamy support is not very useful for this particular fight. It's actually more useful for the Hody Jones fight, but because we are using the support Red Recruit Daifuku attached to versus Big Mom, you actually kind of don't need the Bellamy support at all. I mean, you know, you can have one or the other. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, and you guys will see why once we get to the Hody Garp challenge a little bit later on. But yeah, it's really nice to have access to this Doflamingo to give us the ability to remove that threshold, right, with the double special activation. Very, very nice to have. But overall, like, once we get to this stage against Fujitora, we have the Blackbeard with the 4 times attack and the 4 times orb boost, and that will just absolutely destroy Fujitora. I think it did like something like 11 or 12 million damage, which was fantastic to him. And then we get basically all the time in the world to just do a little bit of stall on these Navy mob characters to ensure that our specials are ready by the time we reach the final stage against Akainu. And of course, once we reach Akainu, we were able to just go ahead and launch the special of Crocodile to remove that burn, give us color affinity. We have Gecko Moria for the full board of matching slots. We can lock them with a super type. We get the orb boost, and then of course we get the color affinity again because of Moria on the revive. And just with that alone, we have the Doflamingo special to remove the threshold as well, and that is going to be more than enough damage to take him down. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip versus the Navy challenge. I believe you guys will see the special animation of Gecko Moria here as well. Really cool special animation. But I'll leave you guys with this, and we'll pick things up with the Hody Garp challenge. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the final challenge of the video, the Hody Jones challenge, which to a lot of people's agreement that this is probably the most difficult one. I still think the Navy one at times can be quite challenging to deal with because of like hunger, multiple turns of threshold, the Kizaru boss fight's annoying, Fujitora can be annoying, but at least once you reach Fujitora on the Navy challenge, you can kind of get a bit of stall off, which is good. But I digress. Talking about this specific challenge, we don't really have anything to take on the barrier guy. We're basically just trying to be lucky, and of course we can take our time because we can hit our perfects to get recovery back, which is really good. So that stage isn't really that big of an issue, but then once we reach stage 4, this is where like the fight really starts to begin. We can take a little bit of time here. We don't have any poison remover on this team. We're just kind of tanking it as we're going through because initially when I was building teams for this, I was just like, you know, I don't really need to bring a poison remover because, you know, we just don't need it, because by the time we reach the final stage, we just have more than enough damage, and we don't really need to do much stall as we make our way through here. As you can see, Blackbeard makes another appearance using his special to get through some of these mini-boss stages, which is really, really useful, so that we can get through it as fast as we possibly can. The stage after this is where that Bellamy support's really good, because we see that the enemy has 4 turns of damage threshold. Doflamingo removes 2 turns. He does have double special activation, but to ensure that we have his special for the final stage, which really didn't matter at the end of the day, because as I said a little earlier, we have Daifuku support attached to Big Mom, which removes the increased defense anyway, but we're able to remove the threshold with the Doflamingo support, or Doflamingo special plus the support of Bellamy, but then also Gecko Moria's special ability grants that huge boost. We can use his super type to lock those slots. We can clear this entire stage in 1 turn, and then we reach the second last stage, and that will enable us to move on to that stage, get our orbs put into those barriers where they can't be changed, and we have a full board of matching slots for that, which is so good. And remember, Moria gives us color affinity on the following turn, meaning when we reach this stage, we get that color affinity from Moria, so we're doing more damage to Ikaros. We do have to use Crocodile here anyway, which it kind of sucks because Crocodile does give us color affinity, which we already have, so we don't get any boost from Crocodile, but we need a way to remove Burn, and Crocodile is the best int character that is Driven or Powerhouse that removes Burn, unfortunately, for this team composition. But it's okay, because we do a lot of damage to Ikaros, and we do pretty good damage as well to Daruma. We can take this turn to move on to the last stage, launch the rest of our specials, and Hody Jones just goes down in 1 turn. So really impressive. I love this brand new Sugo Fest exclusive character, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video today. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.